Nick Sorrentino for AgainstCronyCapitalism.org, and today I wanted to talk about what John Huntsman had to say about China. For those who don't know, John Huntsman is the former ambassador to China until very recently. He is now likely running for the GOP nomination for president. He has a lot of insight into what's going on over there, and what he said basically is that China's headed for real trouble. Perhaps if he's elected, even more so. Who knows? Regardless, what he says is that the political class and the business class, though they're kind of working, they are absolutely working together. I mean, China's the quintessential crony capitalist state at this point. They're at odds, and the business class is gaining in power. The Politburo doesn't like this. There's all sorts of instability potentially there. And it made me think again of I had the opportunity to speak to James McGregor, the author of this book, 1 Billion Customers. If I remember correctly, he was the Dow Jones editor in Hong Kong for years and years. And so he has a lot of insight into China as well, and this book is excellent. But I asked him, and this was 2 or 3 years ago, the Communist Party, the official mouthpieces coming out of China were reporting that there were tens of thousands of peasant uprisings in the hinterlands. And I said, is this, what do you think about this? And he said, yeah, it does not bode well for the current establishment. It's interesting, in 2008, the world imploded, the Western world imploded. China was still rolling pretty hot. But in an effort to make sure that they stayed rolling hot, the Chinese infused the Chinese economy with stimulus, even when it basically didn't need it. It looks like, potentially really distorted things even more than they already were, with probably lax accounting standards at best, pervasive throughout the country. But tons of money poured into real estate in China, and now China has these cities, literally cities of empty apartment buildings. This in a country of 1.3 billion people. There are whole expansive areas where you can drive down the street and you don't see anyone, but there are these brand new apartment buildings. Most of them are shells, but it's just amazing. And this is perhaps the much vaunted Chinese crony capitalism model coming home to roost. You can only keep the reality of the market at bay but for so long. In the short term, you can manipulate things up, but eventually the piper will be paid. Usually in terms of inflate, either by inflation or by deflation, political instability. Something gives. If you don't let the markets act as they should, you will pay, and that's what it looks like is happening in China, perhaps in the coming years. Mark Faber, by the way, also has said quite a few things about the potentially disintegrating situation in China also. So we'll see. But crony capitalism always seems to crumble from within. We'll see what happens in China. Anyway, for AgainstCronyCapitalism.org, I'm Nick Sorrentino.